White America laughed at the pain of black people and they mocked our struggle. But look at them right now. Their house is burning from the inside and the fire starter name is TJT.
Do you know why Donald Trump is by far the worst president ever? Well, I'm going to try and explain it to you as quickly as I can. He is destroying our economy, the stock market, international relations, consumer confidence, our system of government, the balance of power, judicial independence, Social Security, Medicaid, medical research, airline safety, our national parks, veterans benefits, our education system. He's trampled over our freedom of the press, ended life-saving humanitarian efforts, created havoc throughout our government workforce, enabled incessant lying, is destroying environmental protections, has the least qualified, most unethical administration ever, is letting the measles run wild, has enabled Elon Musk's minions to steal our most sensitive data and store it who knows where, is essentially kidnapping people off the street to be tortured in El Salvador without any due process, has unleashed nonsensical, unnecessary, inflation-igniting tariffs, is whitewashing our history. He's using the White House to make a gargantuan amount of money for himself and his family while helping Putin in every way possible and letting the heroic Ukrainian people suffer, all while inflation continues to grow. It's insane. For more of this content, please also follow me on midterms_messaging.
The same God who saw black people tears in the cotton fields, the same God who heard our cries under Jim Crow, the same God who saw black people tears in the cotton fields, the same God who saw African tears during colonization, the same God who saw black American tears under Jim Crow, the same God who watched black people survive the lash, the chains, is the same God who is flipping the tables today. Why am I saying so? Grand Rising family. It's because God is paying back, not with lighting from the sky, but with chaos inside their own empire. The punishment they are receiving isn't coming from, or is not coming tomorrow. It is already here. And it's happening in real time. So family, when enslaved Africans were brought to America, when they were stripped of their land, their names, their language, their culture, their freedom, they were left with nothing but faith. And they turned to God because, I'll say this, because no one else will hear the cries of black Americans, the cries of enslaved Africans on the plantations when white slave masters whipped them, when families were torn apart, when their bodies were broken but their spirits remain alive. They sang spiritual songs, and those prayers were never forgotten. The Bible says in Exodus that when the Israelites were enslaved in Egypt, their cries reached God, and he remembered his covenant. The same thing happened in America. The cries of black people reached God's ears. For hundreds of years, black people prayed for freedom, prayed for justice, prayed for deliverance. Even when it seemed delayed, but God was preparing something bigger. Now, this video of today is for those people who are spiritual, who believe in God, because I'm trying to connect what is happening in the States right now and what's happening in a spiritual world. I'm trying to connect the rising of Africans and the spiritual world. But before I go down into that, I want you to watch these clips here, and then we continue.
All right, Trumpers, come and get me, fuck faces. Here we go. Listen, Donald Trump and his tariffs are back at it. I don't understand why, because here's the thing. You and me are paying for these damn tariffs. And here's the thing. Let me break it down for you MAGA freaks, okay? When you go to the grocery store and the shit is more expensive, you go buy a can of beans and the beans is normally $1 and now they're $2, you're paying for the tariffs because the companies are not eating it. And Donald Trump is saying that we've raked in billions, if not trillions of dollars on tariffs. Why are we not being transparent with where this money's going? Not only that, he's also talking about implementing more tariffs throughout the world, which is also going to create more job loss, just like with John Deere laying people off, Walmart laying people off. The company that I work for, we are going on a hiring freeze starting next month. We are not hiring any more bodies. They will shift people around where I work because of Donald Trump's tariffs. We're getting a week off for Thanksgiving. We're getting a week off for Christmas. We've already been told that. The place that I work, we work 24/7, 7 days a week. That building runs, but not off Donald Trump. So tell me how we're fucking thriving. If you think we're thriving, you are delusional. Go look at yourself in the mirror, because you're crazy.
Retirement has become a real big issue here in the United States.
What's up, America? I'm going to be real with you here because I see no future for people in America. After seeing the high cost of homes nationwide, the high cost of gas, the high cost of food, the high cost of rent, cars, rental cars, used cars, insurance, health care, taxes, and every other thing, how is anybody in this country supposed to prosper that's not already wealthy? Could someone tell me that? The pulling yourself up by your bootstraps argument is and over. It doesn't work now. You have average home prices of $512,000. Grocery prices are almost 100% more since 4 years ago. Same with rent, same with mortgages, same with used cars, same with new cars. Taxes are slightly lower, and I do mean slightly. Wages are slightly up, but no way in hell will that meet the requirements. I just saw a story about a nurse with a $75,000 salary a year and an 808 credit score denied for getting a home. Zero student loan debt too. So debtless, making 75 grand a year with an over 800 credit score, not good enough for a house. So what are we doing here? What's the end goal? Starvation? Death? What's going on here? No matter what you do, no matter how you spend the finances, the middle class and the poor have no upward mobility. There is no hope now. None. No hope. None. Zero. The next 2 or 3 generations are because you allowed so much greed. Younger generations will never have shit because of your greed. I've already broken my back trying to make ends meet working for the last 30 years. I already know I'm not going to get anything from the rich. I don't give a But the younger generations, if you keep stealing and being greedy, they're going to all be homeless. And then what do you have? Ruling over a bunch of homeless people? You.
Trigger warning, I'm gonna crash out right now, and this is gonna be a long video, but I feel like you could relate to this, so here we go. It's great living in America, unless you're a fucking American. If you're a bank, though, you are thriving, while the rest of us are just trying to survive. I just came across a video saying that banks are at an all-time high. Like, their expectations have blown through the roof of what their profit margins were gonna be. You wanna know why? They are thriving because America is starving to live. At least 95% of Americans right now are literally surviving off credit cards, off loans in general. And banks are eating that shit up over the high interest rates. We're fighting for our lives over here. You want to know what the American dream is like? Let me tell you. Every day I wake up hoping today is the last day on earth. I'm tired of it here. The American household, on average, is $80,000 in debt. And that's just credit cards and like auto loans. Maybe even some student loans thrown in there. But that's not even including your mortgage. That's just credit card debt. And right now, banks are eating that interest rate up while we're all surviving. You mean to tell me that the average American goes to their mind-sucking job, works 8 to 12 hours, to have everything deducted, have nothing left to live on, and we're forced to put food on the table by using credit cards? Okay, picture this, right? You go to college, you get yourself in hundreds of thousands of student loan debt. You are one of the 5% of college graduates to get your job in the field you got your degree in, right? You get everything garnished from your wages because the increase on living and everything around you has gone up, but your pay has stayed the same. But then you also get taxes taken out. We get taxed just to breathe, people. We get taxed on owning shit. We get taxed on working. We get taxed on just living, okay? Then you got health insurance. That's a joke and a whole video within itself. But basically, the average American pays anywhere between $300 and $1,000 a month for health insurance. Basically, you're paying just to say, I have health insurance. But then when you go to use health insurance, you have co-pays and deductibles, and they don't cover nothing until you've met your deductible. What do you mean? Why am I paying you $1,000 a month to have health insurance when I'm still paying more just to use it? I digress. Then you have everything like retirement, 401 taken out. Okay, great. You're going to work 30 to 40 years of your prime so that when you get to retirement age, we're going to give you monthly stipends payments back just so you can afford to live without a job. Meanwhile, like 80% of senior citizens that are retired now are working at Lowe's at the age of 87 because they can't survive just on their retirement. That's just a prime example. We're all struggling to keep our heads above water because we don't earn enough money. After everything gets taken out, we are now forced to pay super high interest rates on everything we own. Even stuff that's paid off, we're still paying interest on. How does that make any sense? But you're sitting there, the American family, the average American family is no longer middle class. You're either poor or rich. The rich is making money off the poor because the poor can't afford to have 2 jobs, full-time jobs, and still be able to take care of their families and have enough money at the end of the day to put food on the table. Hence why we are forced to live on credit card debt. And y'all are just going to keep jacking up the prices that we're never going to be able to afford to pay off. Because unfortunately, Dave Ramsey, the average American person has nothing left after their paychecks come in and they pay their bills and they buy groceries. They have nothing left to save. So you're sitting there with $20 to your name for 2 weeks until the next payday. And that's if you're lucky. There's some people that are in the red right now. They are working their asses off and they can't even pay all their bills on time. And they're trying to decide, do you want to keep the light on this month or the water? No, living is just a luxury. I can't afford to put braces on my kids right now. That's a luxury. Going out to eat, that's a luxury.
I don't know if this is happening to anybody else in America, but it's getting pretty annoying with me. So I had a phone plan that I started about 1.5 years ago. It was about $115 a month. A little overpriced for a single line, but sure. I was willing to pay it. Come 1.5 years later, they're trying to charge me $167 a month for the rest of the contract. They don't specify why, they just, oh, it's extra service fees. I'm sorry. $47 more in service fees a month I have to pay? That makes no. And then I literally go to my auto insurance, which was quoted to me when I first started the policy, which was a 6-month policy, at $311. $311. It's way overpriced, but I drive an Audi, so what the ever. I guess I'll pay the $300 a month for insurance. Then I go back to my policy and they're telling me I owe $374 a month for the remaining 3 months. Extra accrued service fees. My storage unit used to be $97 a month for my stuff. It is now $145. They raised the price on the contract and on the agreement that I made with the company. This is the same with the insurance company. This is the same with the phone plan company that I'm putting this video on. When are we gonna get sick and tired of corporate America taking our money? I'm getting real sick and tired of this. This isn't even like a political view on left or right side or anything like that. I'm sick of America stealing from its citizens. I'm sick of corporate billion-dollar conglomerate oligarchies that continue to throw little fees and fines on us like we owe it, like we have to force ourselves to pay because they contractually keep us in a contract. It's getting old. How did my bills go up over $400 in the past month from accrued fees? They can't even specify why those fees were raised. We need to hold these people accountable. These CEOs, CFOs, these owners of these corporate businesses, billion-dollar wallets packed. All these rich, horrible people where it's like, well, they earned it fair and square. Yeah, by people over and ripping people off with accrued fees, fines, and until their pockets are so lined, they don't even know what to do with their money, while the rest of us sit here and struggle and feed off of breadcrumbs on the ground, going, it's the government, it's the Democrats, it's the Republicans, it's everything else but exactly what corporate America is standing for right now. They don't give a about us citizens. They only give a about their company, and they just want to sit there money hungry, just shoveling their face full of our money.
So I'm being evicted from my apartment. Yeah, let's talk about it. So I live in a part of Florida. I mean, Florida itself is disgusting, but I live in one of the worst parts of Florida. And there's nothing here. And for the past year, I have financially struggled to the point of mental insanity. I have been stealing my groceries. I have been basically stealing anything I can just so I can survive. I'm like a little squirrel. And the stress from the financial instability has made my bipolar symptoms come back up. Oh Oh no. So now they want me to medication. I didn't need to take medication for 4 years, but now I need medication. So I'm getting in my car, I'm driving to my mom, and we're gonna live out of our cars, we're gonna camp, we're gonna save as much money as we can, we're gonna get vans. I'm done living in this system. I will forage for my own food if I have to. I'll kill an animal if I have to. I'm done being part of this rat race. This society is not normal. This isn't normal. Okay?
So, I don't normally ever come on here and post anything except of my dog because he's absolutely gorgeous. But I am extremely frustrated being a full-time employed person living in Florida and not being able to afford to live. I have spent my whole day off trying to find a, more affordable place to live because I can't afford $1,300 a month in rent and then a $650 car note and then $300 in insurance, and then you got utilities, and it's either I eat or I pay my bills, and then even then it's like, okay, well, which bill's gonna be late this month? And I'm so sick of it. Like all these apartment complexes and realtors and even private renters, so hard, and I mean that with everything in me. I nor anybody else should be working 60 plus hours a week and not be able to live. I'm about to crash the out. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me losing my mind. I don't know. I don't know, but I'm about to lose my shit because I just can't take it.
I'm so livid right now. Hear me out. Health insurance in America is a joke.
I just saw a video of a girl being like, how are we gonna do this like for the rest of our lives? And I just have to say, low-key, I feel like a lot of young people right now in the workforce, I see comments all the time that are like, I'm betting on the world to end. It's like, yeah, me too. Like, how up of a economy, of a society, of a country are we living in right now that your young people, your new to the workforce young people are basically like, we basically have like ideations because we don't want to do this forever. There's no reward for our work anymore. What's the reward? Like, oh, you get to go to sleep at night.
I feel like the lack of money that people have now is really just starting to compound anxiety, depression, anger. They're short fuse. People are just getting, it's even worse to me this year than it was last year, but fuses are getting shorter. You see people that any kind of issue comes up, whether they're in a store, just anywhere, people are just automatically, they're getting the shakes, they're getting angrier faster. People are not having the amount of patience they used to have. It really comes down to emotional intelligence, and people are not able to manage this anymore. And I'm starting to see people break. I see people constantly all day, and it just seems like it's starting to just kind of compound. And I don't know where this is going to go. Bills are not getting cheaper. Nobody's getting paid more money. Matter of fact, companies out there are quietly reducing things like perks, benefits, bonuses. So in a way, you're actually making less money probably than you might have made in the last several years. And at the same time, everything just continues to go up. The aggregate numbers, I bet everything put together, you're probably almost double your expenses that you were before COVID if you add up every single bill you have. I just don't know where this goes. People just people are not making eye contact with you out in public. Less and less people are smiling. People just seem on edge. They seem agitated. They're just in their own world. And it's like everybody's got their brain on a hyperactive thing, about about stress, about money. And man, the lack of money is just gonna break people. You know, money doesn't buy happiness, but money buys your peace. It buys options. It buys your ability to survive and to enjoy the things around you. And if you ain't got no money, well, everything else around you crumbles. And man, I don't know, man, but people are just getting less and less pleasant to be around, and they're just getting more agitated.
Okay, welcome back. Now, let me talk about white America. For centuries, white people built their wealth on slavery, on stolen land, on free labor. They thought they were untouchable, okay? They thought they could build an empire on the backs of black people and never pay the price, okay? They wrote history books to erase their crime. They built laws to protect their privilege. They told lies about black people being lazy. They told lies about black people being inferior and dangerous, okay? While they were the ones living off stolen labor. Understanding this here. The God of the oppressed, the God of justice, the God of black people who suffered is not mocked. What you sow is what you reap. What you sow, you shall reap. Even if not today, not tomorrow, but one day. White America sold slavery. White America sold Jim Crow, lynching, redlining, mass incarceration, and systematic oppression. And now, they are harvesting it here. Okay? Now, and the coming of DJT is a divine irony, because white America looked at DJT like their savior. They said he would make America great again, and they believed he would restore their dominance. They followed him like a prophet. But here's the irony. Trump has become very tool God is using to destroy their fake security, to destroy their false security, okay? Instead of uniting America, he is dividing it. Instead of strengthening America, he is weakening it. Instead of covering up racism, he is exposing it, okay? Think about it. White people thought DJT was their weapon against black progress, against immigrants, weapon against women, Muslims, and anyone who wasn't like them. But in reality, DJT is the weapon of God against white America itself. He is tearing them apart politically, socially, and even spiritually. Churches are split, some are closed. Families are splitting, okay? Political parties are splitting. The world is laughing at America. We cannot pretend like it's not happening. And all this chaos is not by accident. All this chaos, it's what we call by divine design, okay? Every empire that oppressed God's people, it's falling. Egypt enslaved Israel, and God sent plagues until Pharaoh had to let them go. Babylon captured the Jews, and Babylon fell overnight. Rome persecuted Christians and Jews, and Rome crumbled. America is no different. America enslaved Africans, turned them into property, and built its wealth on stolen lives. And now America is trembling. I don't know if you are seeing this. What is happening through DJT is not just politics. It is prophecy. It is judgment. It is the same God who heard the cries of black people for centuries ago, saying this: enough is enough. And black people should not fear this moment. And I'm so happy to my black brothers who are seeing this moment, and they are like, okay, we already lived this. We already got our portion. Now, is your time? Is your time, okay? I want to say this clearly to my people, my viewers. Black people should not fear what's happening in America right now. We should not panic about the chaos. We should not be scared of DJT as Black America. Even as Africans, you see what South Africans are doing. You see what Julius Malema is not scared, because DJT is shaking the foundation, exposing the lies. He is crumbling the system from within, and that's God balancing the scales. Are we together? I don't know if I'm saying something. I'm so sorry if my message is not playing by you, you know? And some people say, don't say about God because some are Muslims. And I think Muslims and Christians, everyone, all of them believing in God. It's just maybe we're calling different names, but it's the same God. I think so. Now, for centuries, America mocked God by pretending to be the Christian nation. But how can you be a Christian nation while enslaving, while lynching, while oppressing black people? You know, they built churches while whipping slaves. They quoted the Bible while selling children at auction blocks. Now, let me go deep spiritually. And let me refer to the same Bible they are using. In the Bible of Galatians 6:7, it is saying, not be deceived. God is not mocked. For wherever a man sows, that he will also reap. Now, white America sowed cruelty, they sowed blood and exploitation, and now the reaping season is here. They can't escape it. They can't legislate their way out of it. They can't silence it with propaganda because the storm is already inside their own house. And DJT is lightning bolt. Why is Trump, or why Trump is a divine payback, is because he exposes white America to itself, okay? They can no longer hide behind fake civility. DJT speaks the things they always thought in secret. He is speaking the hidden part loudly. He says the quiet part loud. He shows the world that the racism, greed, arrogance, and corruption in white America is not bad. It is the system itself. And here's the twist. The very people who uplifted him as their savior are now watching. And they are watching in tears, someone creating videos and telling the truth. That is payback, I think. That is divine irony at the highest level. It's like God is saying that you wanted this man, you glorified him, now I give you what you wanted. And America is falling just like other empires. We have seen other empires crumbling and falling. Don't be fooled, my people. Don't be fooled. America is not too big to fall. Rome thought it will never fall, or Rome thought it was invisible. The British Empire thought the world or the sun would never set on its rule. France thought its colonies would last forever. But every single empire that was built from the suffering of others, it collapsed. America is no different. And what's shocking is that America is not being destroyed by bombs from outside, but by corruption, greed, and division from within. That's exactly how God brings empires down. Not always with enemies from abroad, but with rot from the inside. Trump represents the rots, and he is disease, or he is the disease eating the empire from within. And whether he wins or loses, whether he goes to the prison or the White House, his presence guarantee one thing: America will never be the same again. I'm saying that personally. It's not the views of all Africans or Kenyans. It's the views of a content creator from Kenya. Black people in America and across the world, what do you think is this role? Or what is black people's role in this time today? Because this is not time to beg white America for equality. This is not the time to cry for inclusion. We cannot collapse all of us. This is the time to build our own as black people, to strengthen our unity and reclaim our power. While they are divided, we must unite. While they are falling apart, we must rise. While their system crumbles, we must plant seeds for a new system, one rooted in justice, truth, and black excellence. That's the system we need to build. The Bible is full of reversals. The Israelites went from slaves in Egypt to a free nation. Joseph went from prison to the palace. David went from shepherd boy to be a king. I think we are living in a season of reversal. White America is going from power to panic, from glory to shame, from control to collapse, and black people, the ones they oppressed, are rising in influence, culture, innovations, and global power. Okay? That's not coincidence. That is prophecy. That's God flipping the script. Okay? When you read the scripture, we are repeating pattern. Or we see a repeating pattern. Every time God's people were oppressed, the oppressed eventually faced judgment. Pharaoh is an example. America has followed the same road. They thought that slavery would last forever. They thought Jim Crow, would keep us silent. Everything they started, it is ending. That's how we need to know everything has an end, because everything they started, slavery, Jim Crow, all of this, it's ending. Judgment is here, and DJT is not just a man. DJT is part of that biblical pattern of payback, a tool of chaos against the very system they built itself on the suffering of black people. Okay? And one of the greatest signs of divine judgment is division within the nation. The Bible says, a house divided against itself cannot stand. And that is exactly what's happening in America. Some people worship DJT of what he's doing. Others hate him with the passion of what he's doing. And that's not just politics, that's spiritual. That's God putting confusion in the camp of the oppressor. And while they are fighting each other, they have no energy left to control us the way they once did. So the payback is real. It is very, very real. And for years, America sold this myth of a greatness nation or great nation of the earth, the land of freedom. Even the opponent was saying, when was America great? Because under DJT, the mask is slipping. The world is seeing America for what it is really, or what it really is. Nation built on lies, greed, and racism. So when DJT spoke, he exposed the sickness of America. When DJT rolling, he revealed the corruption. When he's signing these roles or these laws, he's revealing what America or white supremacy is really for. America worships money like it's God, okay? Wall Street, capitalism, wealth at any cost. That's their religion. But look closely, the economy is unstable right now. Inflation is rising. Jobs are shaky. The dollar is losing power globally. Nations are moving away from America's financial system. And they are trying everything to stop it, but it can't be stopped. It can't. And what's making it worse is that DJT and his kind are draining the economy even more. Okay? Tax cuts for the rich, corruption in the government, greed at the highest level. So white America thought DJT would protect the wealth or their wealth. Instead, is helping destroy it. And that's why I'm saying they are crumbling from within. I hope my black family, you are understanding what I'm trying to say. Okay? I want you to comment down there. Do you think, am I right? Do you think I'm talking this from within? A God of black people? Or it is judgment time or not judgment time? Tell me what you think on the comment section. Until next episode, peace out.